Boom! Welcome to Lacrosse Link. An exciting episode. World Junior Lacrosse Championships are right around the corner. And we got Liam McGrath and Bryce Schmermund, one of the East, one of the West, playing for Canada. And they are telling us their story, how much excitement's building up in this tournament, and what you should expect to see on the floor at the World Junior Lacrosse Championships in Winnipeg.
Beautiful play, Aaron Gray Eyes. He is having himself a tournament.
So he's definitely physical, athletic, and somebody to be watching for.
In the middle, it just bounces off, but it's picked up and scored.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
Welcome to Lacrosse Link. Liam McGrath, member of the Canada squad for 2018 at the World Juniors, and now coming back to play for Canada East in 2021. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Excited to be here.
I'm curious about the experience for you, because I look back and I remember at the time in 2018, you were a bit of a wild card, maybe because you come from playing for the Micmac Warriors in the East Coast Junior League to having a season of Junior B with Orangeville, and then you wind up with World Juniors on a pretty big stage and have a good tournament. You guys win a gold medal. Now it's 3 years later, you're coming back. But how did that first one work out for you? What was that year like, going from Micmac to Orangeville to World Juniors, and how did you wind up with that World Juniors team as a 17-year-old?
It was that whole year for me was pretty crazy in general. So I basically bypassed my second year of midget in Nova Scotia and decided to try to play junior there instead. So that's how I wound up playing with the Warriors. And then right after that year, kind of going into the fall that year, I got a call about potentially a tryout in Orangeville, and was ecstatic. Obviously, I knew about the program and knew kind of the legends of the program, I guess. So basically, Chet Konechny was my Team Nova Scotia coach for a few years, and he wound up getting a spot with the Junior B coaching staff. Mm-hmm. So he was the one that brought me up, and then I wound up coming up for a few weeks for tryouts and sticking, and had a great year that year. Was really happy to be there, and then was fortunate enough to get a message from Chris Fox at the end of that summer and got the invite to come play, and was pretty blown away by that. But it was an awesome experience, and I wouldn't change a thing about it.
And I'm curious what the experience was like then, playing as one of the young guys on the team, and now you're coming back with Canada East. The roster's just announced, and you're going to be one of the veterans, one of the guys look to be a leader. And what's it like? What are your expectations, and what do you feel, a bit of pressure, or what are you looking to?
I don't really feel any pressure towards it. I'm just really excited. I love kind of being in that role, being an older guy, getting to work with younger guys. And I mean, I think all the guys on that team are super talented. Obviously, we're all there for a reason. I think that it's going to be weird kind of getting everyone mixed in that quick, because we are only going to have really one practice as a group together. So I think it's important that some of the older guys, including myself, and I know there's a lot of older guys even on the roster, that we all kind of get it clicking early and try to get some of these young guys up to speed. But I think everything will be fine that way. And I'm just excited for the opportunity I have.
So Liam, I'm wondering, with that experience you had before and the looking forward to it this year, I guess one of the things, pandemic has been really tough on everyone, no different being the World Juniors. So we go back to the Canada East, Canada West format for this year. And it's not what anyone would have ideally wanted, of course. Not a lot is ideal right now, but the silver lining to me is this could be one of the most competitive World Juniors we've seen. There are a lot of great players on both these rosters. Yeah,
I'm super excited about that. I mean, obviously we come in as Canada as a pretty dominant force throughout those World Juniors, and credit to all the countries that do come. They compete really hard, but I think having us as Canada East, Canada West will be the most competitive it's ever been. There's a lot of talent on both sides, and I think it's going to be interesting to go 3 games against these guys and get to see what happens. I'm really excited for that.
You get to cover guys like Patrick Dodds, who was a first round or second round pick last year in the NLL draft and then selected by Panthers City. Anything in particular you're going to be doing to prepare for this tournament?
I'm playing in Orangeville right now. So we're playing 4 games a weekend, and I'm getting out there and getting after it a ton with the junior A team out here. So I think as far as preparation, I think that's really the best thing I can do, is be surrounded by my coaching staff in Orangeville, the guys on my team here, training, playing with these guys. I think it's honestly the best thing I could possibly do. On the side, just by myself, I'm sure I'll be working on just getting stronger, being as physical as I can be, especially with some of these bigger talented guys. I mean, you need to stay physical with them or else they're just going to bully their way to the net.
The OJLL junior season that you're mentioning, 4 games in the weekend, which is actually more than you played with the Orangeville Junior A team in your 2 years there. You were playing Junior B. What was that experience like going in after not playing? You had some time to get some runs in, obviously, but 4 games in a weekend, and as we probably would have expected, some pretty wild swings around things changing because nobody's had a chance to play.
Yeah, it was exciting for sure. I mean, for me, I've played a few games getting called up and stuff like that. And then obviously, I mean, I haven't really played box since the first few games of my second year. I blew out my shoulder in my second year and missed the rest of that year. So I've been basically on reserve for the last 2.5 years now from box lacrosse, which has been driving me insane. But it's been really awesome to get out there. Super great group of guys, and it's definitely was a hell of a weekend. But I think everyone's kind of in the same boat. A lot of guys haven't played in a long time, and everyone's kind of getting back into the groove of things. And I'm excited for the next weekend to see what we can do.
It's going to be very interesting to see. Now, one factor for World Juniors to me is that it really appears to be becoming a big factor in players getting drafted in the NLL, the exposure, and maybe highlighting some players that aren't getting as much attention or not necessarily seen as much beforehand. 8 members of the team you played with for Canada in 2018 have been drafted in the NLL, including a pair of first rounders. A whole bunch more, including yourself, going to likely be going in the next few years. What do you see? What's that?
We hope so, yes.
We hope so. I think there's a lot of those guys are going to go, and some of you fairly high. And then you've got on the other side, of course, you've got Brett Draper, another Atlantic Provinces player who's drafted. What do you see in terms of the World Juniors experience in that direction? And how do you feel about representing the Atlantic Provinces?
I think World Juniors did a great job about getting guys' names out there. I think there's definitely a lot of guys that gained a lot of, I guess, of a reputation from playing there and allowed people to see them, which has been great. I'm super happy to be a part of that and hopefully potentially follow that lead. As far as being a guy from the Atlantic side of Canada, I mean, it's awesome. I love it. You talked about Brett Draper, he was my roommate here in Orangeville for 1.5 years, and me and him are super close and we keep in touch pretty regularly. There's a couple other guys like Alex Pace from the East Coast that as well as playing for the Wings right now, but to be a part of that group, it'd be a dream come true to get drafted and, be one of those guys that gets to play. I think lacrosse in Nova Scotia, especially now, is starting to grow with the Thunderbirds being there and stuff like that. So to be someone that can represent kind of where you're from and get to do something like that, it's an incredible feeling.
And Alex Pace is coaching back in the East Coast Junior League, as is Steph LeBlanc, who's lived in Halifax for a while and actually represented Nova Scotia at President's Cup. So it is really burgeoning out there.
Yeah, when I was playing at home in Nova Scotia for a few weeks before I got the call to come up here, because the season there opened up early, I was actually playing for Steph's team in that league for a few games just while I could. And then, yeah, he's awesome. He's a phenomenal coach. I mean, his mind is incredible. So I definitely soaked up everything I could from him for a few weeks before getting to come back up here. And yeah, it was awesome.
Just want to touch on Lenoir Ryan. Is that how you say it? Lenoir Ryan or Lenoir Ryan?
Lenoir Ryan, yeah.
Lenoir Ryan. You're wearing the hoodie, and you're a sophomore this year. I mean, those categories are a little tricky to keep track of nowadays, but officially a sophomore. You get to the national championship in NCAA D2. Pretty exciting stuff happening for you in Carolina, too.
Yeah, I mean, it was a super great year for us. We had a great team. We were still fairly young, lost a few key pieces on offense and defense, but we're still a really young, deep team. So I'm excited to go back next year and see what happens. But all in all, obviously, we didn't get the final result we wanted out of this year, but just to get there and be there for that weekend, experience the whole thing was incredible.
Really appreciate you taking the time to come on. Wishing you the best of luck in the rest of this very abbreviated OJLL season. And I'm excited to see you play in Winnipeg and just see the growth in your game over the last few years.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Hi, this is Jaden with Al Anderson Source for Sports. Excited to tell you that we got all our new lacrosse product in for this upcoming season. Whether you're playing box or field, our lacrosse experts are going to make sure we get you into the right equipment to elevate your game. At Al Anderson Source for Sports, we know our stuff.
All right, fans, lacrosse fans from around the world and Canada, of course. We got a Team Canada West player, Bryce Schmermund of the World Junior Championships, Team Canada West. Let me tell you, Bryce has 43 points in the 10 games he's played so far in 2021, which is exhibition and some regular season games. Absolute freak on the floor. And I'm excited to see him take the turf and represent Canada West. Bryce, thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. You know what? It's not every day we get to bring on top-notch talent like yourself, and I'm just happy to kind of pluck your brain about what this experience is going to be like. So let's dive right in. So Bryce, describe the feeling to me or to the fans at home, I guess, what it's going to be like representing Canada on the world stage at the World Junior Championships in August.
It's going to be a huge honor. Anytime you get the chance to put the maple leaf on and just represent your country, it's a big deal, and I'm very excited about it.
For sure. Is this the first time you've represented them?
No. So back in 2019 in Hamilton, I got the opportunity to play for Team Canada.
That's awesome. That was Jeff Dowling was your coach, right? Great guy, great coach.
Oh, awesome. One of the best I've ever had. The way he sees the game is incredible.
It is for sure. I've actually played under him myself, and he's just such a lacrosse mind. When you're near him, you just sponge it all up, right? So that's awesome. And that'll give you an upper hand here moving into this tournament, as some guys will be on their first tournament. You already got one under your belt, so you already know what it takes. How has playing with Crude of the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League helped develop you into the world-class athlete you are today?
Oh, it's been awesome. It's a great organization there, and I would get in a bunch of trouble if I didn't give a big shout out to Terry Doket. He's one of the good guys of lacrosse. Lots of guys have helped me out, but just wanted to give him a shout out and give the boys, the crew, the shout out. It was a great year. No, it's just great to get some games under your belt, get the feet moving before Worlds, just to get the stick in the hand. And yeah, great organization.
For sure. I played against the Crew growing up. They started in the development stage, but at the end, they were contenders for the championship every year, and it was really a turn of events. And now, obviously, they're still up in that contender category, which is awesome for you and the guys at the organization. Shout out to Eric Turner as well. He used to score a lot of goals on me. He's a pro who played in the Crude. Just because it's junior B tier 1 doesn't make it any different there. There's still world-class athletes, coaches, and players coming out of that organization and going to the big leagues and going to the World Juniors. Bryce, what do you say your biggest asset is that you bring to the fore when you play?
I think the biggest thing is I'm going to be the first guy there to go with the loose ball, first one to get in to the corners, just be a little meat and potatoes kind of guy, just a hard worker on the floor. For
sure. I like that. I definitely like that. I'm a goalie in the cross, but that's my style in hockey. Hey, muck it up, get the loosies, work hard, and good things will pay off. What is it that fans can look forward to watching you, Canada West, Canada East, face off, whether it's in the building or on the national coverage of TSN?
I think just getting all talent under one roof. Just so many guys coming in from the NLL draft picks, people going into the draft, all this skill, East, West. I think it's going to be a great weekend of lacrosse for everybody.
I would have to agree, Bryce. I can't make the tournament this year, but I'm hoping to continue on with my World Junior Championships experience. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune into every game, and I'm going to be screaming for Bryce Schmermund and Canada West. But I'm just happy to watch these athletes battle on the turf. I mean, it's just going to be an exciting overall weekend of lacrosse, watching the guys get back into the groove, probably some filthy goals, maybe some scrappy stuff in the corners, but everything you love about the sport of lacrosse. Thanks so much, Bryce, for joining me here on Lacrosse Link, and we look forward to having you on the show again coming soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for sticking with us for a couple of great interviews with players who are heading off to the World Junior Lacrosse Championship. We are now at the rundown, and I'm going to kick things off with Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse getting underway. It is the Pro Women's Field League that just started up in the last couple of weeks, and it's pretty exciting. It's really fun, very strange rules. They don't keep track of standings. Really, they change the teams every week. The top 4 players in their very unusual scoring system are the captains for the week, and they pick the teams. And I'm going to talk quite a bit about it with Dempsey Arsenault, one of the star players in the league, a captain the last couple of weeks, on LacSpeed this week. So make sure you check that out and check out some Athletes Unlimited Lacrosse. It's pretty fun.
You know what? It is interesting format, Stamper, when you get to pick like gym class, right? Because ed class, you get to pick new players each week and fill your roster. Maybe someone's popping off and having a great performance in the past couple of weeks. So you want to add them to your bench, right? It's kind of a different format, but maybe it's something that'll work for them. Maybe the availability of the women is a little different. Maybe it's something that will take off. But it's definitely something a little different. Now looking here at PLL, which isn't playing by those rules, but they do have a video game that I want to add to my collection. I'm a big Call of Duty Warzone guy, big NHL, big Madden. I love the games. Now I got PLL Top Shelf to add to my collection, where I can outfit my guy in jerseys, gloves, helmets, the full kit, and I can try and play against other players like you, Stamper, from around the world.
I am not a big gamer, but I'll jump on and we will get our teams all geared out and ready to go, and I will crush you. In PLL.
This might be the one thing I get to beat you on.
Yeah, actually, I'm not going to crush you. I don't think. I'm not very good at them. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe this will be my forte in gaming. Will be the PLL game. Sure. On real floors, the Major Series lacrosse season is underway. They're playing a 5-week season with 5 teams, 8 games per team, just a double round robin amongst them. And it's been pretty exciting to see guys back on the floor. The players are pretty stoked. Had an unfortunate injury in the first game of the year with Dan Lomas. Looks like a pretty bad Achilles injury, but feel bad for him. But overall, the players very excited to get going. One of the cool things, I get to see a lot of prospects for my rankings for the rapidly approaching National Lacrosse League draft. Ryan Lanchbury, Jonathan Donville, and Dehoga Nanticoke, 3 huge talented righty forwards in MSL are all playing. So it's been pretty cool getting to see guys like that and many others on the floor again.
Speaking of on the floor and with NLL superstars that are up and coming is the OJALL. 44 games in the past couple of weekends. I'm thinking when you go from no lacrosse to 2 solid weekends of 44 games, I think the players are going to be a little sore and a little beat up here as they move into the semifinals on Saturday, where the top 2 teams from each division make it, and the finals, which are on Sunday. So another weekend of lacrosse for the OJLL. And on the flip side, far side of the country, BC Junior A is having a mainland championship, and then the island championship, I guess if you want to call it, between Nanaimo and Victoria. So they'll get to battle there on the island, and they'll keep the mainland people on the mainland, and they'll face off in their own championship. So lots of lacrosse here, and you can stream it all and enjoy it all online, which is even better.
Yeah, I know the MSL and OJLL games have all been on JVI Sports Network's YouTube channels. They're 2 channels, so you can go check those out. And it's drinking from the water hose right now. It's a lot of lacrosse coming at you, but it's pretty exciting to have it all. So again, go to YouTube, JVI Sports Network for the Ontario Leagues for sure. Go to the BCJLL website for information about how you can catch any games that they have available online. Also online and coming up soon is the National Lacrosse League Prospect Showcase being hosted by the Tualatin Lacrosse League at the Meridian Centre in St. Catharines, Ontario. It's August 21st and 22nd, and it's going to give young athletes getting ready for the draft or looking to make a mark in free agency in the NLL a chance to get out and showcase their wares, which has not happened for a while. I'll be down doing play-by-play. I'm going to have Brian Shanahan by my side doing color. We're pretty stoked to get to see these guys competing and showing off what they can do for NLL scouts and GMs and coaches. And that's a pretty cool event happening as well.
I think it is a cool event. I mean, I saw the scouts were looking at the OJL games. I saw that Bob Hamley was there and some different guys from around the league were there with scouts, coaches, GMs. Everyone's kind of taking a peek. And this is just another opportunity for those guys to see the players in the TLL Showcase and see what they have and bring to the table and try and get some of those guys in the NLL too. So, I mean, there's lots going on here. You know, I'm going to throw a little side note in here. NLL Free Agency is happening, but when we're talking about prospects, Christian Del Bianco's playing player in that Extreme Lacrosse League down in BC. Did you see that, Stamper?
No, I didn't see that one. I've been catching some of it.
He's suiting up as a player in half the games there. And he said in his Twitter, he said he's going to have to fight Dane Dobie if Dane Dobie doesn't get 4 goals this week or something like that. It was pretty funny there. And it's just kind of interesting to see him. He said he's a non-athletic guy in an athletic world there running around. So
I'd have to disagree with his assessment of himself as non-athletic. I've seen him running to the bench when they're pulling the goalie for an extra attacker and passing defenders on his way to the bench as he races in. He's a pretty athletic guy for a goalie.
He is.
Yeah, speaking of athletic guys, not a lot happening so far in free agency as we record this in the NLL. Some not a lot of big name signings, but one might be a bit under the radar. Zach Masson, who is an absolutely huge talent. Go to ILindoor.com. I've got a story about Zach Masson signing with the Albany Firewolves. He would have been, I believe, a top 5 pick in the 2017 NLL draft, but he was going to Alaska Anchorage on a hockey scholarship. He's done there now. He's ready to go in the NLL, and Albany are the recipients of some good fortune to get him on their roster. He is an absolute beast. 2-time back-to-back defensive player of the year in the Ontario Junior League, and he is a great one.
He definitely is. And you know what? That's a guy who took a risk on his hockey scholarship, and now he gets to come back and also take a risk here in the NLL and enjoy this sport too. So really athletic guy, really involved. And like you said, not a whole lot happening right now, but I'm thinking as we move forward here in the next coming weeks, we're going to see a lot of action on the free agency side of things.
Something's going to pick up.
This is the rundown section. Stamper and I love having you on board. Love that you stick it around to the end and get to consume all this lacrosse action here on our show. Once again, we'll be back next week with another episode for all of you lacrosse fans. Remember to like, share, comment, even give it a little heart on Facebook if you want. If that's how much you love us. This is Lacrosse Link. Tanner Fetchy, Stamper, signing off.